Hi friends! Today I have an adventure story for you about how when we work together with friends, we can see so many cool things and go on adventures around the world. This story is called The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson. Look, there's a huge whale, and then look at the little tiny snail on his tail. This is the tail of a tiny snail and a great big gray-blue humpback whale. This is a rock, as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships on the dock, and as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. See, there she is. She wants to travel and see what's out there in the wide, wide world. But how is she going to do it? These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet. Don't wiggle. Sit still. Stay put." But the tiny sea snail sniffed and sighed, then cried, "I've got it! I'll hitch a ride." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, "Ride wanted, around the world." So do you see with her snail slime, she made a little sign on the rock. Who's going to pick her up, I wonder? This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright, a humpback whale, immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars in enormous waves. And this is the tail of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." What a nice friend. Do you see? He's giving the snail a ride so she can see the world. Let's see what they see. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far off lands. This is a long journey, huh? With fiery mountains and golden sands. Look at the monkey and the turtle. These are the waves that arced and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. Look, she's holding on so tight. These are the caves beneath the waves where colorful fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam past the whale and the snail on his tail. Look at everything deep in the ocean. This is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. Look at that storm, but the snail is still holding on so tight. The whale is such a good friend, taking such good care of her. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all. And she said to the whale, "I feel so small." The world is so big. And do you see how all the different places they're going are so different from each other? That's what makes the world so special. There's so many different places to learn from that we can go to, huh? But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to shore. Oh no, the whale got scared of all the speedboats. This is the tide slipping away. And now the whale is stuck on the beach. What are they gonna do? That's a really big whale. Oh no, whales snails can't be out of water. He needs to be in the water. And this is a whale lying beached in a bay. Quick, off the sand, back to sea, cried the snail. I can't move on land. I'm too big, moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, I've got it, she cried, and started to crawl. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. How is she going to get help? She wants to help her friend. Her friend helped her see the amazing world and all the different places, but how is she going to help him? This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board, as black as soot. It's kind of like that rock, huh, that the snail started on. And this is the snail with the itchy foot. A snail! A snail! The teacher turns pale. Look, say the children, it's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, save the whale! Look at how cool she used the chalkboard to make a trail with her slime so she can write a message to the kids to save the whale. She's such a good friend. These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. Do you see all the kids? They're working together to help the whale. See, she's stuck on the beach, and so they're keeping her wet because whales need to be wet with water. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting, hooray, as the whale and the snail traveled safely away. Look, the snail's back on the tail. The tide came up. So the ocean moves up and down. If you guys have gone to the beach, you've seen it, right? Sometimes the beach is almost all covered with water because the water is so high. That's when the tide is high. But when it goes down, 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 then the beach is open and we can play on the sand. But it's hard for the sea creatures, right? Because they need to be deep in the water. And there's no water on the beach when the tide is down and low. The tide moves because of the moon. Isn't that a cool thing? Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown, and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail after snail. Look at all the friends are going on. Everyone is going to go on an adventure to see the whole world. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the gray-blue humpback whale. The end. I hope you guys liked that story and you learned something about tides, right? When the water goes up or down, and about how we can see the world and save our friends with friendship and kindness. Bye, everyone.